So the first thing I like to talk about, first of all, I'm Sharissa Bradley. I am a nutritionist. I own a company called Independence Through Nutrition that's currently going through a rebranding to be considered Doctor of Food, which is more my speed. So tonight I want to go into what is muscle testing, why do we use muscle testing, and maybe touch on things like how some people consider it kind of like a little voodoo-y, you know, a little woo-woo. And I try to explain to people, like, what is muscle testing? And I tell them, like, well, you know, give me your alcoholic beverage and I'll show you what muscle testing is. Or, like, why don't you touch the food that you're eating right now and I'll see what muscle testing is. So what is muscle testing? And then after we talk about what muscle testing is, I'm actually going to teach you how to do it for yourself. And unfortunately, I can't teach you how to do it on yourself, but I can teach you how to do it with a partner. So you can use another person's body to muscle test yourself. So when I'm going grocery shopping and I know I'm going to try to get new things, I bring my husband or my sister with me, and I'll muscle test them for me. So if I want to try like a new goat cheese or something like that, I'll put it on myself and muscle test and say, like, no, it doesn't work, because it never does. And then that way I don't waste any money, but something that's going to hurt me later. So what is muscle testing, how to muscle test, and then this class, like I've mentioned, is an every month class, and even though the information is the same, you'll get something different out of it every month, as well as gain a little bit more confidence in how to muscle test yourself. Now, if you love muscle testing, you get really excited about it, you know it's going to help you, but you never really want to do it for yourself, that's perfectly fine. I do muscle testing in the store every Friday from 10 to 12, and you don't need an appointment. So you can come in, you can bring up to 15 items from home, and you can be tested on anything in the store. And again, you don't need an appointment for that. In Artisan's Palette, thank you. So at the store, I mean Artisan's Palette, here locally in Temecula, California. So if you're local, and if you want to be muscle tested and you don't want to do it for yourself, then you can come and see me on Fridays, 10 to 12. And again, you can bring 15 things from home, or you can be tested on anything in the store that you want. If you want something a little bit more specific, so I'll show you today how to how to test for products. So what is good for you and what isn't good for you. We can also go into even deeper and look at if there's an organ system that's having problems, if you have a specific allergy to something, or if you're having a flare somewhere. So maybe your liver is hurting, your gallbladder is hurting, bladder problems, heart issues, brain fog, things like that. We can test specifically each organ as well. So that's a little bit going in a little bit deeper, and we'll talk about that and kind of how to figure that out today too. Even if you don't want to do your own treatment, but you want to figure out, like, oh man, I'm having this pain. For instance, this is a quick example. My mother-in-law is having this really horrible rib pain. So she went to our chiropractor, and the chiropractor adjusted her, and she's like, but it's still there. And I didn't do anything to hurt it. So I muscle tested all of her ribs to see if there was something messed up in her ribs. We didn't find anything in her ribs, but it just so happened that her spleen, which is right underneath your rib cage, was really inflamed. So we treated the spleen, she's feeling better. So we can test to see what is actually having problems, troubleshoot, get really specific, and this way we can really help each system out. Okay, so without further ado, what is muscle testing? So muscle testing was created in the realm of kinesiology. So it's called applied kinesiology. And what it does is it gets us out of the way of our own thoughts and ideas about what's actually going on with us. So when we're having issues, we want to go on Dr. Google, and we say, like, Dr. Google, my stomach is hurting, and Dr. Google tells you, you have cancer, you're dying, and you need to have your stomach removed, right? That's like, immediately. I have so many clients who call me like, Sharissa, my stomach is hurting, or my intestines are hurting, and Google says I have colon cancer. Well, okay, Google's right every time, trust everything on the internet, right? No, must be true. So what we can do with muscle testing, we get our own thoughts and ideas out of the way. So I have preconceived notions about what's going on with you if you tell me. If you say, like, hey, Sharissa, this is what I ate for breakfast today, and I'm having this problem, I'm going to immediately think, you did this, and this is what's going on. But when I get myself out of the equation and use muscle testing, none of my preconceived notions matter, And all it is your body telling us what's wrong. And we do that by applying pressure, which your body sees as a threat, to the organs in your body. And not a lot of pressure, I'm not like poking you, but by touching the organ that we think is involved. So maybe it's your stomach, we put a little bit of pressure on your stomach, your body immediately sees that as a threat. If it's operating appropriately, then it won't change, your body won't change at all. If it isn't operating properly, what's going to happen, I use muscle testing with arm strength. And it doesn't matter how strong you are, it doesn't matter how big of muscles you have or how strong the person is muscle testing you. If something is going on, you won't be able to hold any strength in your muscles at all. Your body will tell me, you're weak, there's something going on in that system. So this is how we did it with my mother-in-law. She had the ribs, so we tested and I put pressure on the ribs. And I test through muscle testing, and I see, is it actually something going on with the ribs? No, everything was strong here. She was able to hold perfect tension, no problem. As soon as I got up under the rib and her spleen, she couldn't hold any pressure. Funny story about this. My husband one time, I muscle test him all the time, but he was having a really bad problem. He was having, he actually has gallbladder issues because he was eating horribly. And he was getting lots of stomach acid, that kind of acid indigestion pain. He thought something was really wrong. So he was asking me to muscle test him. So he just so happened to be in the shower. And he was like, Sharissa, something's wrong with me. I'm in the shower, I don't feel good. Can you muscle test me? So I go upstairs and I'm muscle testing him in the shower and he can't hold any strength. Nothing. Nothing that I can't even get him strong just to test, can you hold your arm strong? He got out of the shower, he dried off, and he was strong. So I had him get a bowl of our water from our shower and hold on to it, and he couldn't hold any strength. It was our water. Our water was just really messing him up. He couldn't hold any body strength at all when he was holding on to our water from our house. So obviously we put a filter on the system, he's all better now. But it's interesting that even my husband's, probably about my same build, about 50 pounds heavier and much stronger, martial artist his whole life. And I could not, it was no pressure. It was just a little tap and his arm would just flop down. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a change in the strength of your arm, your muscles, your body, not because you're any weaker, but because something is going on with your body and your body's trying to tell you what's wrong. And again, that gets us out of the equation. You're not telling me what you think is wrong. I'm not telling you what I think is wrong. Your body is telling us. There's a saying that goes, our dumbest organ is smarter than any doctor. Our body is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And as we study more and more about it, we're uncovering the things that it does. And we know now that our liver does up to 500 jobs, but we still don't know what else it does. When my mother-in-law was asking me, what does my spleen even do? I don't even know why I need a spleen. This is why half of us get our gallbladder removed, because we don't know what it does. We know that it does something, right? We just don't know enough to think oh, go ahead and just take it out. Every kid in America is getting their tonsils removed because they're having infections in their tonsils. And the doctors say oh, you don't need those anyways. It's not you don't need them, it's I don't know what they do, so I'm going to take them out. They're actually incredibly important. If you don't have your tonsils, you're much more susceptible to parasite infections, bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, candida. It sets you up for the perfect storm failure for the rest of your life. We absolutely have to have all of our organs. They're brilliant, right? They know better than any of us would ever know. And in our lifetime, we'll never know what our bodies are capable of doing. So when we get ourselves out of the way, we let go of those preconceived notions, then our body can tell us what's wrong, and we can do the best thing that we can to support it and help the process along. So that's what muscle testing does. Muscle testing gets us out of the way and lets our body heal itself. Okay, so why do we use muscle testing? I know that from what I've said, you can pretty much determine why we would even use it. But some of the major reasons are that we don't know what's affecting us or how badly something is affecting us. So by muscle testing it, we can see, well, that's bad and that's good, or that's strong and that's weak, depending on the terminology that you want to use. But it gives us a way to really specifically troubleshoot what's going on. Maybe even more so than any doctor's test could do for you. So you go and get blood tests done. The biggest problem with doing a blood test or going into the doctor and having any tests done is the fact that it's going to take 2, 3, 4 weeks to get your results back. Well, what's going to change in that time? So I had when I first got sick, I got sick a couple years ago, and this is what got me into all of this in the first place, is I got sick, and then I figured out how to heal myself using food, and then I started teaching other people the same things. What happened to me is I was so exhausted that I couldn't function anymore. Like, I couldn't do anything. So I went to an integrative medicine doctor after going through several doctors, and they told me, you have adrenal fatigue. And I said, okay, great, what's that? And they did the tests for it, and it took me 6 weeks to get my test results back. By the time they gave me my test results, they wanted to give me this protocol, this like all these supplements, all these things, and not taking into the account that I also have celiac disease. So my gut bacteria, my gut lining is incredibly compromised. So adding a bunch of supplements in when your gut is compromised isn't going to go where it needs to go. It's going to get flushed out because the body didn't know how to absorb it anyways, right? So muscle testing allows us to test your adrenal glands right now, today, and say, hey, they're not functioning optimally. What can we do right now to help them change? And then we have things in the store, herbs, products, whatever it is, and I can give specific recommendations today. We don't have to wait 6 weeks from now to find out what was wrong with you 6 weeks ago, when you've probably already done things in that time period to either make yourself better or worse. Right? If you didn't know what was wrong and you had all these tests done, you didn't change your diet yet, you didn't know what was wrong. So maybe now you're worse off, and that protocol doesn't apply to you anymore anyways. Even if it was that you had gotten worse. Maybe you got better, maybe you're getting better, but it's, again, still not applicable. So muscle testing allows us to know right now what's going on, and right now to get help. And right now to stop eating the foods that were hurting us, not 6 weeks from now. And again, it gets us out of the way. So our body tries very hard to show us what's actually going on. Your body will give you clues, it'll give you signs. Maybe it's a breakout, maybe it's a skin rash, maybe it's being tired or a headache or something that's coming up. But unfortunately for us, and maybe fortunately too, there's a prescription, there's a treatment for every symptom, right? I have a headache. Oh, great, I'm going to go to the store and get some Motrin. I got a skin rash. Oh, don't worry about that. We'll put some steroid cream on it. I've got, my eyes are itching, right? Something. There's drops for that. So we're hiding, we're masking all the things that our body's trying to say, like, hey, there's something wrong with me. Fix me, help me. And instead of actually getting any help, we just keep masking and masking and masking and masking. And then what happens is we're in the hospital and we're like, hey, I haven't been able to move for a week. Something is very wrong with me. So instead of getting to that point, we can use muscle testing and find out, hey, the reason that your eyes were burning or the eyes were hurting or your headache is doing this or you have this skin rash is because you're eating something that isn't good for you. Or maybe you're taking something that isn't good for you. Or maybe all your clothes that you're getting dry cleaned, the chemicals that are on the dry cleaning clothes aren't good for you. I mean, we know that, right? They're absorbing in, there's something going on. But we don't know what it is unless we can get tested for it or muscle test for it. So that's what muscle testing does for us. It gives us that ability to find out right now, hey, Sharissa, this weird thing just started happening today. Let's fix it. Before your body finds another way to tell you. Because the next time it's going to be louder and louder and louder, and then you're going to be in the hospital. And they're still not going to do anything for you. Here's some pain medication, and I'll give you some test results in 6 weeks. Okay, so muscle testing. One more example of getting us out of the way. One of the employees that works here, he came to me a couple weeks ago, and he said, hey, Sharissa, my girlfriend's got this problem. Can you help her? And I said, like, what's going on? He's like, oh, she gets this like burning in her chest, her stomach really hurts. Can you fix ulcers? Like, do you know how to fix an ulcer? And I was like, yeah, that's easy. We'll just do like some aloe vera, like get some, is she still drinking coffee? Like, we can easily fix that. So I said, but I need to see her. Like, have her come in. Like, let's talk about it. So she comes in, and she tells me, well, my stomach hurts, but only when I'm at work. Okay. And she's a coffee, holic. right? She like loves coffee. She's an avid coffee drinker, not because she wants like the caffeine from it, but because she really enjoys a good cup of coffee. So she goes to the good places, she gets the good coffee, she loves it. And so I asked her, so when you drink your coffee, does it hurt? No, not at all. I'm like, okay, you don't have an ulcer. That's like boom. Okay, now instead of going WebMD, she thinks she's got an ulcer, she's trying to treat an ulcer. Turns out it's her adrenal glands. Okay, she has all these other things that are going on too. Period was wacky, weird pain. She was like, I have this pain right here. And it's my, what did she say? Bless her heart. My intestine, something, I don't know. It's like, that's not your intestines, that's your ovary. That's your ovary. My back is killing me, my low back right here. It hurts all the time. And my stomach hurts, and I have this pain here. So that's your hormones. No amount of aloe vera gel or stopping the coffee is going to help your hormones. So now we start muscle testing. We find the adrenal glands. We get her on the adrenal support, put her on a little bit of magnesium. 2 days later, she doesn't have any more pain. Gone, done, perfect, no more problems. Dr. Google wanted her to treat an ulcer. Okay, so this is what muscle testing does. It gets us out of our own way, out of your own head. When something comes up and you're like, oh, this pain, and you want to know what it is, you don't know what it is because, first of all, we're not all, physicians. We don't know the anatomy of the human body. We're pointing here. That's not your, intestine. It's your ovaries. If it was the other side, it would have been an ileocecal valve, and then maybe it was the intestines. But it was all seemingly unrelated to her, and things that she hadn't told her boyfriend, and things that she hadn't even thought to tell me until I asked her, what's your period like? Where's the pain? How often is the pain? Where is your hurting on your back? Is there anything else that seems unrelated that you want to tell me about? Oh, well, this other pain. That's your hormones. Okay, so then we can muscle test. We can get ourselves out of the way. And we can find out exactly what's wrong. And we treated her, and 2 days later she was fine. Back to normal. Out of pain from using the magnesium to get rid of the pain. Fix the adrenal glands, or fix the hormones. She was in a very stressful work environment. She hates her job. That'll do it to you every time. So it only hurt, her stomach only hurt when she was at work. Well, that makes sense if you hate your job, that your stomach's going to hurt when you go to work. Right? Get out of the job. Okay, so the value is that we get to find what's wrong right now and fix the problem right now without waiting 6 weeks, without paying for the doctor, without doing all of the things. We get to know what's going on and it gets us out of the way. Okay, so you can also, like I said, we can test very simple things like whether something is good for you or not good for you. And then we can also test more specific, like what organs are involved and what organs are having problems. So when I go more detailed, I won't just look like, oh, my stomach hurts and I'll just check your stomach. I'm going to check every organ in your body because there's going to be something else that's coming up. And it might be several things at one time, and then we can check what the priority organ is. So say you come into my office and you say, like, I'm having this one pain, and I find, well, actually your liver, your gallbladder, your small intestine, your ovaries, all of these things are messed up. But the reason all of that started is because you didn't have enough acid in your stomach. So we fix the acid in the stomach, and then everything else corrects itself. So that's when we can go a little bit deeper. That's a separate session, but we can make appointments for that. So Friday mornings, 10 to 12, you can bring in anything you want in the store, and I'll do quick muscle testing on you. But right now, I'd like to teach you guys how to do it yourself. Anybody want to be a demonstrator for me? Got a nice little spot for you? I don't bite? Yeah, come on. Okay, so today I went over to the dollar store, and I bought a couple of things. So Coffee Mate Creamer. So the class that we do several classes during the month, but one of the classes that we did recently, we talked about how if it doesn't need to be refrigerated, it shouldn't be going in your body. Yeah, no, it shouldn't be going in your body. I'm all just looking at the ingredients. So coffee creamer, this is a staple in most people's homes. Some chips, because like why not? Who doesn't like a little crunch? Canola oil, which most people use because it's got that high burn rate, but canola oil is actually just like pure inflammation in a bottle. If you cared about your body, throw this away. Ranch dressing, which again is just hydrogenated oil, soybean oil, xanthan gum, artificial color, artificial flavor, It's like not even a real food. And again, doesn't need to be refrigerated, totally shelf stable. And then our favorite, chocolate that isn't real chocolate.
Do we want to pair it with the good stuff?
Yes, we will.
Our
Absolutely.
Like a real ranch dressing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you what it looks like to go weak, what it looks like to be strong, and we're going to test the product against another product. So when we pair up into groups, you're going to pick a couple of things and you're going to test each other and yourselves on the products. And then I want you to get, and I'll pull them from the shelf for you, the equivalent of whatever it is, but the healthier version. So in the store we have, wow. Okay, so instead of a not real chocolate, we have real chocolate. So I'd like you to see weak and strong. Some of you will be strong on chocolate. Some bodies are not going to respond to some of the things that are crappy because it's just not the priority to fix right now. So most of you will go weak on all of these items. Some won't. That's okay. So the weak and then the strong. So I'll pull each item. So we have chips, we have the good oil, and we have the good ranch dressing. I don't know what we would use as a coffee creamer. We'll find something.
The
Fat packs. Perfect. So I'll pull one of each of the things from the shelf so we can see a weak and a strong. But let me show you kind of, first of all, what we even do. So I want you to hold your arm out in front of you and be in front of me so I can, perfect. Okay, so what you're going to do is just hold your arm strong, don't let me push you down, and that's going to be my pressure. So not very hard up, not very hard down, and then just pick up any of these items, I don't care which one, perfect, and just hold that and hold this strong, and there we go. See that drop? So put that back down, and hold this strong again, and that's strong, and then pick it up again just to show one more time, and there's the drop. So we just are looking for that change in pressure. So again, I'm not changing anything, she's not changing anything. The only difference is picking up the item that isn't going to be safe for you. All of these things are picked because they're not a safe product. So what I want you to do now, I'm going to turn off the video, sorry, and you're going to partner up. And you're going to start testing yourself on a strong. You're going to get strong on your partner. And then you're going to each pick up an item and see that weak. And then I want you to pick up anything that you want in the store that you'd like to test yourselves on. And I want you to be practicing this. And we're going to get you to a point where you feel comfortable with it. Sound good? Okay, thank you so much for joining us. I hope to see you next month so you get some more information for yourselves.